Hi there, my name is Ronan O'Muirla and I'm the Head of Faculty of Film Art and Creative Technologies. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. I'm here to talk to you about portfolios and how to get into IADT. But before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about IADT, who we are, our programmes and what life might be like for you if you come here to study. Then at the end, I'll get into advice around portfolios and more besides. IADT is unique. Everybody says that, but IADT really is unique. We are Ireland's only institute of art, design and technology with a specific focus on the creative and cultural and technological sectors. Our faculties, the Faculty of Film, Art and Creative Technologies and the Faculty of Enterprise and Humanities are unique in that they combine practical, transferable skills with critical and relevant academic studies. All of which means IADT is a place where you come to learn by doing. We want you to become a creative person who can change the world for the better. All the time you are here, you will be making new work and hopefully having fun while doing it. COVID has made a mess of everything this year. We are doing okay, but light is at the end of the tunnel and life will get back to normal for all of us. IADT has about 2,500 students and 200 staff. We're a small campus, we don't have the facilities of the bigger colleges, but we have fantastic community and everyone knows everyone by their first name. Students get to work with really committed staff, many of whom are internationally acclaimed practitioners. There's excellent gender balance in our student community and amongst our staff, and we do our best to make sure the culture here is as tolerant and open as it can be. Everyone of every shape, size, colour or creed are very welcome here. In fact, we want different at IADT. There are more than enough boring middle-class men like me in the creative industries. We need more voices to tell their stories and to help shape the world around us. Why IADT, you might ask? All our degrees are the equal of any degree in Ireland. Most are level 8 and meet all of the European quality standards. They are practice-based, which means we teach and you learn by doing. You make art, films, costumes, models, computer graphics, sets, computer programs, whatever it might be, through projects that are simulated on real-world experiences. There are very few exams. Much of the assessment is continuous assessment. All the while, you are learning hands-on in small classes that are very much focused on working creatively together. And we know that not everyone has the same abilities. We have a full range of services on campus available to you to help you during your time at IADT. Traditional learning can be challenging for some people and we recognise that. We have counsellors to help when things get tough and other supports designed to help you if you need them. The students are our most important advocates. Let's hear from some of them on their view of IADT.
I think what suited me best about IADT was the size of the college. It was a small, tight-knit environment and that really appealed to me.
It's difficult not to become part of the community in IADT, like constantly contributing to the college itself rather than just your course.
There's an absolutely lovely environment across the entire school. Every class is only about 30 people, it kind of goes 30 to 35 people. And from day one, we are all working in groups together. At all times, you are being trained for industry and we're working to industry standards. So the entire time you're in college, it's like you are working in a safe environment where you know you have that support network of your class and your lecturers.
We're learning to code and we're learning how to interact with businesses and learning how to build a portfolio and stuff.
There's lots of opportunities to creatively come together and show what we can all do, be it animation or film or photography. Even just walking through some of the buildings and seeing some of the visual art around is just like, wow.
You just want to go down with your notebook and learn about something. They will always be there to help you out. When you love what you're doing, it doesn't feel like a job. It's actually like a holiday from Monday to Friday.
Without a doubt, this college has given me all the skills and the tools that I need now for whenever I finish at the end of May. That's something IADT is the only place that could have given me that.
Some of our students there talking about IADT. I'm going to move on now and talk about our faculty, the Faculty of Film, Art and Creative Technologies. Importantly, FACT is the home of the National Film School, Ireland's leading centre for education for film, television and the screen arts more generally. It's an exciting interdisciplinary place to study and come and make work. Our goal is to inspire and enable students to become authentic and courageous storytellers. And we haven't been doing too badly on that front of late, with 3 graduates nominated for Oscars in 2019, and this year, 2020, we were recognised by Variety magazine as one of the top film schools in the world. This is a good point to take another break and enjoy a quick sample of student work. We are more than just the film school, of course, at IADT. We have 3 departments, one focused on design and visual arts and one focused on film and media, and a department of technology and psychology. And that's not counting the other faculty, where there are a host of business and humanities degrees worth checking out. We really do a lot more here than people think. Here is a list of all our undergraduate degrees, in fact. Just very quickly, the BA in Applied Psychology is fully accredited and is one of the leading psychology degrees of its kind in Europe, taught by expert staff. Creative computing is a fantastic mix of computer science and using tech to be creative. Interaction and user experience design takes a deep dive into the digital world and how we shape and interact with it. Creative music production brings together the best of technology and music and has a fantastic new pathway if you want to continue your music practice. We have taken the old BA in film and television production and split them in 2. Both disciplines have distinct degrees, but are very much interlinked. Design for film is new. It brings together all the disciplines concerned with the world we see on screens. The costumes, the characters, the makeup, the sets, the physical and digital worlds, all designed and made in one programme. First year is common, and you then find your path, your specialisation from there. Photography and visual media is a world-class degree in photography and recognises the multidisciplinary practice that is photography. It's much more than taking photographs. It's everything to do with looking at the world around us through a lens. Animation remains the leading general animation degree in the country, with graduates leading the way in telling stories in a variety of animated forms, including 2D, 3D and under camera. The BA in Art is at the heart of IADT's DNA. It challenges you to become an artist who can express themselves through any media or medium. You don't just become a painter or a sculptor, but a truly expressive artist. The BA in Graphic Design builds on the success of the BA in Visual Communications that has been producing leading designers for decades. It covers all forms of design, traditional analog forms, digital and much more, as you learn how to shape and craft the world around us and how we understand it. All of these programmes, bar the first 2, require a portfolio to get in. I've done a lot of talking there in the last few minutes. Let's pause and see some of the facilities and enjoy some more student work.
I do find it very unique in IDT is because you've kind of formed this relationship with the lecturers, you're constantly getting one-to-one conversations. I'm constantly learning new skills every day. Like, you just want to go down with your notebook and learn about something that will always be there to help you out. Kind of take that away from IDT, not just the skills that I've learned, but the friends I'm taking away from as well.
Some examples there of student work. Now I will turn to portfolios and what we are looking for. The first thing I would say is go to the website and look at each programme and their specific requirements. There are a lot of commonalities, but you do need to be mindful of each programme's requirements. A portfolio is needed for all the programmes in the Department of Design and Visual Arts, Film and Media, and Interaction and User Experience Design. Really important is you need to apply via the CAO before the 1st of February 2021. These are restricted programmes, which means you need to submit a portfolio to get in. The portfolio deadline is the 18th of March 2021. That's a Thursday. All our portfolios are submitted online on our digital platform. Details are on the main IADT website. We had to move to digital portfolios in a hurry last March given the COVID emergency, but it was such a success that we're sticking with it. We had project days last year as well for the first time. We will have them again this year as virtual project days. They will be held in February 2021 during the midterm break. I'll talk about them a little more now shortly. The max you can get for a portfolio is 600 points. Those points, plus your Leaving Certificate points or FE College points, are added together. Based on that combined number, the CAO then makes its offer of places. So for example, if the points for film are 900, with a portfolio of 500 points, you'd need 400 plus points in the Leaving or equivalent. So what goes into a portfolio? There are no rules about portfolios, just advice. What follows is a guide. We get hundreds of applications, and it's always the work that stands out. There is no secret formula. But in general terms, a portfolio is a collection of work that showcases your interests and ability. It used to be that big black folder that contained all of your work. It still is the same, now it's only digital. We are looking for people who display real creativity, curiosity about the world, and display inventiveness in their work and ideas. Build your portfolio around selected themes maybe, projects, events, rather than a random selection of your best work. Maybe tell a story with some of your work. Build it into a narrative. Make or link pieces together into something that ties it all together. We want to see your energy and enthusiasm for your chosen craft. It always shines through in the best applicants. This talk is a start, but please go to the portfolio guidebook. All the information is in that. There's also good advice on the website for each programme. You should also go to the open days like this one and sign up for portfolio clinics. You will also find a great video on the website that shows you how to photograph your work using just your phone to put it up on the portfolio platform as well. So yes, you can create work by hand, of course you can. Photograph it and upload it. Digital work as JPEGs, PDFs or videos are also welcome. Some portfolio tips include: be organised in your selection. Quality over quantity is important. Think about your choices as it reflects on your own understanding of the work. Present work clearly and cleanly. Help us to help you and understand what it is that you are presenting. Work can be finished and can be a work in progress. We like to see your process and how things develop for you. You can show large work, of course, using photographs. If you're doing a course or you're in school, do include all that work, but we really like to see your own work done outside of courses. It really stands out as showing your passion for your craft. Many programmes require sketchbooks, and you can photo them and upload them and their contents. Indeed, as I say, many programmes do require sketchbooks as part of the application process. Your CV is important, as in a personal statement. Use them, as always, to express your passion and interest, not just in a discipline, but in working with others, or just as a way to tell your own story. This is a quote from the handbook that I think sums things up. We like to see a portfolio that demonstrates visual skill, creativity, self-motivation, inventiveness, experimentation, flexibility, and stylistic variation. Technical ability is important, but it's trumped by a creative streak. It's that spark of creativity that we're really looking for. I spoke before about project days. These are an alternative to portfolio applications, but very similar. You get a brief from us to do some work that will help us to assess your abilities and your creativity. The brief will be released on the 14th of December on our website. You will have time to work on some of it at home first, over Christmas and perhaps into January. Then you will have to complete one piece of work online as part of a group with support from lecturers. This will happen during the midterm in February. All the work you make at home and during the guided sessions must be uploaded digitally to our digital platform. You get a score based on your work soon after that. You can still submit a portfolio if you're not happy with your score. The scoring is just the same as the portfolio points, with a max of 600 possible. More information will be on the website soon. The virtual project day applies to art, design for film, animation, graphic design, photography and visual media, and interaction and user experience design. The portfolio is still the main way to apply, but the project day is a really good alternative. People often ask, if I do a course at IADT, will I get a job? Over 90% of our graduates are employed within a year of graduating. You might not end up where you imagine, but being creative means being able to think on your feet. It means being able to solve problems and deal with anything that life throws at you. And our graduates end up in all sorts of places, from designers like Rory O'Neill, who's a national treasure, to Peter Foote, who wrote and directed Young Offenders. There should be no limit to your ambitions. I'll leave it there. Some important dates again. The CAO deadline is February the 1st, 2021. The portfolio assessment deadline is the 18th of March, 2021. And the graduate show will be in May 2021. I very much hope to see you all there. Slán agus gur míle maithagah as ach feicfeachid.
Hello there. Thanks for your interest in joining us here at IADT. In this video, we will help you capture and submit your portfolio in 5 steps. Remember, the purpose is simply to capture your artwork as accurately as possible. Let your work do the talking. Step 1. Choose a device. You can use either camera or a smartphone. If using a smartphone, choose the best available to you. Also, make sure you have enough memory before you start. Step 2. Light. Choose an open area, wall or floor, with a very high volume of natural light that allows enough distance to photograph without distortion. The more light, the better. The brighter the light, the higher the detail. Avoid casting shadows on your work by having the artwork between you and the sun. Step 3. Setup. If your artwork is in a plastic sleeve, remove it to avoid shine. Select a distraction-free background. Position the camera opposite the middle of your artwork. Move closer to the work instead of zooming to keep the quality high. Remember to avoid distorting your work by being too close. Place a finger on the screen where the subject is to focus on it. Then, adjust your exposure using the exposure slider. Securing the camera with both hands, take the shot. Shooting a 3D piece? Point your camera at the middle of the object and shoot. Turn the object and shoot from different angles. Step 4. Notebooks. We love notebooks. Notebooks show us ideas, process, and more. When photographing your notebooks, it's okay to shoot both pages of the spread. It's also okay for you to have your hands in the shot. Just try to keep them at the edges of the page. You might consider a short video rather than stills of your notebooks. Ask a friend for help turning the pages so the camera can stay still and in the same position. Step 5. Review. Review the image sharpness by looking at the image magnified. Look for camera shake or distortion. Happy? Great. Not happy? Don't panic. Take your time and reshoot. When you're happy with your photos, save them as image files, JPEG, TIFF, PNG, or PDF files. Maximum file size is 5 megabytes per piece. A maximum of 25 pieces can be uploaded with your entry. Video, animation, and motion graphic attachments under 5 megabytes may be added. Larger files should be hosted on a video site such as YouTube or Vimeo. Please provide the URL. Back up your photos and videos to a couple of devices to prevent losing your work. Trust us on this one, we've all been there. Please remember, the purpose of these photographs or videos is simply to record your work with as much accuracy and detail as possible. Let your work speak for itself. From everyone here at IADT, we wish you the very best of luck and we look forward to seeing your work.
Hello, and you're very welcome to the National Film School Studios here at the Institute of Art, Design and Technology here in Dunleera. My name is Ronan O'Murla and I'm one of the heads of faculty here at IADT. We are talking about portfolios, and with me are 4 students to talk about their experiences of the portfolio process. They will have some tips and advice on how they went about their portfolios. And I'm delighted to welcome to studio Eve Feehan, second year art, Saoirse Carey, fourth year makeup design, DSS, Zach Drew, second year animation, and Kasper Jarozinski, first year interaction and UX design. Hopefully, Kasper, I said that properly. Listen, very welcome to all 4 of you here to the studio. Thanks a million for making the time for us. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awful was the portfolio process, do you think?
Oh my God. Honestly,
I'll start with you, Eve.
yeah, it wasn't that bad, honestly. It's very daunting going into, say, an art design course from secondary school. And especially when you're trying, explain to your parents and do the whole portfolio on top of it. What really brought comfort to me was, of course, going to the open day and talking to the lecturers. But then, of course, I also stalked current students on Instagram and messaged them for advice and information. But there's loads of information on the website, so I studied that mercilessly.
And did you put much time into it in terms of developing the portfolio? And was it something you were thinking about from a long way out?
I decided in my 6th year, but I think it was too late in my own mind. So I finished my Leaving Cert and I did a PLC in Blackrock. I did theatrical makeup to make sure the course was really for me. And while doing that, I worked on my portfolio. So it wasn't necessarily a portfolio course, but a lot of the ideas that I was exploring in the portfolio, I instantly brought in with my project work. So it kind of worked in both ways for me.
Eve, you are in second year art now,
Yeah.
but you tried IT for a while. What made you change?
Yeah, basically I found it a bit boring. So I kind of wanted to do something that was more creative. I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to go into, if it was kind of more film, art, photography. And then I just knew I kind of enjoyed it, so I was like, why not? I'll just go for it. Told my parents I was set on it, even though I wasn't sure. I was just like, I like art. But the portfolio course for me, I was debating whether to just sit down and do it myself for a year or do a PLC course. And I did a PLC course, which I'm delighted I decided to do because I didn't have a clue what to put into the portfolio, but they were doing it with years, the teachers that we had, and they were brilliant. So basically everything they told us to put into it. So we did print, painting, ceramics. So I actually learned a lot through that. And yeah, that's kind of how I formed the portfolio, because I just didn't have a clue myself what to put into it.
So you really felt that taking that extra bit of time helped you?
Oh, definitely, yeah, because I just was kind of a bit baffled. I was like, I would have just thought it was all finished pieces, whereas they were telling us that you kind of have to have pages where it's not completely finished pieces, just kind of shows if you pick one object and do completely loads of studies of it, instead of just doing one finished piece, it actually kind of shows that you're exploring more things. So
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Zach, you're in animation, second year now.
Yeah.
Animation's tough to get into. How did you tackle the whole portfolio thing?
I tackled it very early on. I was quite lucky to come across the course very early. My mum brought me in. It was around 3rd year, and it was an open day. It was very casual. I sort of trickled around, checked out the courses. I kind of liked art at the time, and I was quite fond of drawing, doodling. I was a bit of a dosser in school, but I knew I liked art. And so then I came in, I looked around, I had a look at DSS. I was like, wow, this is amazing. I had a look at all the other courses. 3D model making caught my eye too, but as soon as I came into animation, I was kind of hooked from there. And then in 3rd year, I got started on my portfolio in 4th year, and I kind of picked up the basics. I started a sketchbook. It took me the whole year to finish, and it was really, really long. But I came in a bunch to all the open days, and I came into the taster days, and I harassed students who were in the college too already doing the course about tips and tricks and stuff. And came to 6th year, I've hunkered down on my Leaving Cert, and I knew I had a decent portfolio put behind me through 4th and 5th year. And yeah, I got very lucky and I got in.
And would you say this, having that longer run at it was important in your head? In terms of, that you were thinking about it for a long time and working on work for a long time?
I think definitely it certainly helped. I think I had a foot in the door, kind of. It also helped to get used to knowing the people and being comfortable. I came in on some days off in school or something, and I'd come in with work and constantly look for feedback and just harassed the lecturers. And they were awfully sick of me when they saw me the first day in first year, like,
Not
oh,
him again.
it's him. But I just stuck with it, and I knew I really wanted it. And my mum was a bit worried when I put it down as the only thing on my CAO. It was just a blank sheet with just animation at the top. And I had high expectations. Everyone had high expectations. Everybody told me, oh, you're going to get in, you're going to get in. But I never let that get to my head. I constantly went, no, it's not good enough, no, it's not good enough, no, it's not good enough. And I just kept working on it until like literally 2 hours before we had to submit the portfolios, I was putting stuff in and changing stuff around. And yeah, my experience with the portfolio, I went in and looked for feedback, and I was expecting to be like praised and all my work would be, they were like, wow, you're amazing. And they were like, you're okay, you might get in, but best of luck with your results. And I went outside and cried for 10 minutes. And my mum bought me McDonald's. And that made my day. And then I got full marks in my portfolio, so it wasn't the end of the world. And
obviously tempering expectations.
Yeah.
Casper, I'm going to turn to you. You're in first year interaction and user experience design, so you're not only new to IDT, but new to a new program, which is in the first year.
That's true, yeah.
And also you would have done the digital portfolio. First of all, can you talk to us a little bit about just your own sort of process of getting the portfolio ready?
Yeah, so, just because we were a new course, I didn't really have any reference from previous years of what to do. But I kind of figured the best way to do the whole portfolio would be like, okay, how do I show people at IADT that I'm a designer at heart, that I work in a certain way? So I figured I'd show them a few of different processes. So like, I was really interested in photography, let's say, beforehand. And I did some science courses and stuff like that, did a few projects here and there. So I figured, what if I just throw that all together, but show them my design process along the way? So like, let's say, putting up photography exhibitions meant that, like, let's say I'd pick up a team, go with a clear mind, explore my options with the camera, go back home, print out pictures on a small format, kind of select the best ones, and then put them up, print them out, frame them, put them out for exhibition. So, even that kind of way of critically reflecting on your work was kind of something valuable to the portfolio. And again, I wasn't even applying for photography, but I was showing them I work in that way, And then I did a few pre-designs. I did a small-scale research project in my school. So I was not necessarily harassing my lecturers, but I was going after students in the morning. I was like, hey, can we talk about like this? And had like little interviews done, and and then based on that, I made like a little prototype. So, I also managed to get full marks in the portfolio, but I think it's mainly because I threw a mixture of things into it. So it wasn't just like, oh, this is my finished piece. Look how great I can like make an interface,
But you seem to have been thinking as well a lot about the work and how you were doing the work, and you put a lot of thought into what you were putting into the portfolio, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so exactly. It was kind of having a structure to it, I think helps like from the start. So, I already knew I wanted the portfolio to be divided into chapters and have like, really clear divisions and be like, this is how I started, where it all like kind of went from there. And this is where I'm hoping to head. So that was the user research piece that I did, So it doesn't necessarily have to be college level. Like obviously nobody expects you to turn on college work, but just try your best and kind of think beyond your secondary school setting, So like you can throw in a few bits if you do art, but like it shouldn't be your main thing in the portfolio for sure. Yeah.
I want to come back to you because I know you did the project day as well, but I want to come back to Saoirse and just talk a little bit about, that sort of choice of what you put in and stuff like that, and how do you? It's a kind of a complicated question because a lot of people struggle with the idea. Well, what do I put in, and how do I best reflect myself? Would you have any advice on that?
I definitely got that wrong in my portfolio.
Really, right?
So I'm a character makeup design student, and of course, makeup is in the name, but our degree isn't makeup. So the first thing that was said to us when I went to the open day and I asked about portfolio, we were told, this isn't a makeup portfolio. And I was like, oh, okay, which really intrigued me, of course, because I'd been doing a makeup PLC at the time and I'd found it really boring. So what I kind of learned was the input of your portfolio, as Casper was saying, is to show yourself as a designer, your thought process, and to show your personality and your style, your interests, what you think about things, and how you think about things, your methodology, and also showing that you're open to experimentation. Like, no one is expecting you to be of a college level or college standard, but to show openness to learning and potential. I put in quite a lot of drawings, life drawings, observational drawings, and I ended up putting in makeup when it worked with my overall design team, and it was like kind of a final output to a design idea. So I had a mixture, but I don't think I put in as enough design as I really could have, which means more kind of research, notebooks, sketches, and exploration, which I think I didn't get full marks in my portfolio, but I feel that probably would have pushed it a lot further. So yeah.
And Eve, for you, I mean, there's an element of as well, isn't there, in sort of like telling the story of yourself, I suppose. Did you find that in doing the portfolio?
Yeah, I kind of discovered things about myself that I just wouldn't have really known before when it came to, like, we did graphic design, and, you know, I kind of thought from previously studying IT, I don't want to go near a computer ever again because it's not for me. But then I can kind of tie the two of them together and kind of do things that are creative and artistic and still kind of use from my other course what I learned as well. And even painting, I discovered I just really love it, and I'd kind of just push that to the side for a few years, and then when you kind of give yourself the time to do it full time for the year to get the course together, I just found the year to be really fun, and I just really loved kind of...
Had you done art in school?
I had, yeah, but I never really thought of doing it as a career. It was never really mentioned as a career. It was kind of like they just never really talked about it really, and then I was like, oh, I might do that kind of near the end of the year, but I didn't know there was a deadline come March, so I just never went into it. But I'm happy I kind of changed now.
Eve's experience, Zach, is like there was a couple of years before she came in and had another path, but you came straight from the leaving.
Yeah.
Do you think, was that harder or easier? I mean, you had to focus on the leaving for that year, though, didn't you?
I think there's a huge emphasis on portfolios for animation, and there's an awfully high leaving cert points too to go with it. So the two combined is your overall points. And to get in, the points sort of rocket up. When you tell people the points, they're like, that's not right, but you have to include the portfolio. And portfolios are really difficult to get full marks. So if lots of people do PLCs, about half the year is PLCs at the moment for my year. As of first years now, I've spoken to a mixed bunch of them, and it seems there's an even amount of PLC students and just straight from leaving cert students. They get a mix of them. But there's a lot of PLCs trying to get in. I do regret not doing one. People out there who don't like the idea of doing a PLC and they don't feel like they feel like they didn't get in means they're not good enough. I really disagree with that. I honestly wish I did one. It's another year of experience on top, and you come out with a year ahead of everyone else nearly. And
I suppose the message is there's no real hurry, really.
There's no real hurry, no, 100%, definitely. I honestly think however you get in, some people, they take 3 attempts to get in, 2 attempts. I got in my leaving cert, which was very lucky. But I would have been happy to do a PLC. I'd signed up for PLCs. I was very open to the idea, and I think people should be open to the idea of them.
Cool. Casper, you had also the experience of doing the project day. Can you talk us through a little bit about that and how that went for you, and how did you feel about that as a process?
Sure. So I was halfway through my portfolio actually, but then, you know, the creative doubt always kicks in. I was like, what if it's not good enough? And I really want this course. So just because there was an option to do both the portfolio and project day, I was like, it's just doubling my chances of getting in. So I figured I'd do that. And, you know, project day is such a less daunting experience because the brief is usually smaller, and there is a brief, first of all. Like, you know, our portfolio was so broad just because we didn't know what to submit. The project day was kind of more guided. And, you know, then having a day on campus and meeting your lecturers, meeting your potential future classmates, like, you know, that was a great experience and really reassured me that this is the choice that I'm committed to and that I want to do. Another thing was that, like, you know, we tried out different things on the day as well. So it was really not only great fun, but again, kind of reassuring that, you know, it's the right fit. And it definitely took off the pressure of my portfolio then. When I was finishing it off, I was like, okay, I have my, let's say, 500 points from my project day locked. So I can kind of, you know, take my time with the portfolio now and don't stress about it too much. So I think it actually the project day aided the portfolio, and then the portfolio aided the project day in a way, you know.
Cool, that's great. I'd go for one last question, I suppose, Eve and Saoirse, I'll start with you. Tell me about, I suppose, ultimately, what was the top piece of advice that you'd give to people who are thinking about applying for any program, for any portfolio program?
Well, first of all, just to go for it. I know I say all of us in the room have experience even pushback from parents of doing a creative degree, because you can get a job in that. You get a job being a character makeup designer. Like, I didn't know. I think the biggest step design, my biggest piece of advice is almost like what Zach was saying, is not rush it. I did a PLC and I gained so much experience, even just introspection. I thought I wanted to be a makeup artist, and I very quickly discovered I actually want to be a designer, I want to be an artist, I want to be a creator, and IADT just facilitates that for me. And in terms of the portfolio, if you need help, ask for help. IADT has so much information up on the website. So many students have their degree in their Instagram bio. They're completely there to be found and be talked to. So reach out, we don't bite, really.
And Eve, what about you? What would your advice be?
I would say even if you think you don't have enough work, definitely still apply and go for it. And even if you don't get in, definitely do a PLC or something, because you learn so much in the PLC. Like, I didn't realise I would learn as much as I did when I did it. And yeah, I think go for it anyway, even if you're afraid to.
Zach, what about you? What's your advice?
I completely agree with going for it 100%. Even if you feel like your work's not up to the par that you think set, or if you come in on the open day and you're intimidated by the work that's set out in front of you, never feel like you shouldn't put it in, because you'll get feedback, and you should definitely take constructive criticism when you're applying for something like that. And if you don't get in, go for a PLC. It's the best thing you could do. Yeah.
And Casper, I'll finish with you. I mean, just that idea of going for it. I mean, it is daunting for people. Like, you know, people do. You know, it's a job of work. Like, there's no getting away from that. But I suppose you need to be. It's that commitment really that will ultimately stand you in good stead.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, you know, before you start and you know the deadline already, you're like, oh, I have to have this massive piece done by like February or something. But then the minute you get stuck in, get your head low and just work away one day at a time, it becomes less and less of a, you know, a daunting task, because you actually figure out, okay, look, I'm like halfway done, and it's only, let's say, Christmas time, you know, I still have like 2 months. So it's really, the earlier you start, the better, but also don't be afraid to explore at the start, because, like, you know, that way you get more ideas in and you can actually curate your portfolio to be a better set of content. But yeah, the main thing is just don't overthink it, start it straight away.
Cool. Casper, thank you so much. And Zach, Saoirse, Eve, thank you so much for all your time and your enthusiasm, and really just the work that you've displayed. I'm really grateful for your time here today as well, in particular, and the time you've given us in terms of the portfolios. That's us for now. My thanks very much to my guests. Remember that the CAO deadline is February the 1st for all portfolio programmes, and the portfolio deadline here in IDT is March 18th. Best of luck to you all. Slán agus gurb míle maithagah as ucht bheith fechid. Hello, and you're very welcome to the National Film School Studios here at the Institute of Art, Design and Technology in Dunlera. My name is Ronan Murhila, and I'm one of the heads of faculty here at IADT. We're going to take a look now at the programmes offered by the Faculty of Enterprise and Humanities, and I'm delighted to be joined in studio by two heads of department from that faculty, Dr. Kevin Wallace and Dr. Therese Moylan. You're both very welcome to the studio. Kevin, I'll start with you, if I may. Your department, tell us a little bit about it and what's it all about?
Thanks, Ronan. Well, the department is home to 3 programmes: Arts Management, as you can see from the title, New Media Studies, and English and Equality Studies. So Arts Management is a course that is, we like to say, business with a twist. So it's all about the business side of the art industry, where you can learn about promotion and event management and the marketing of the arts industries and the specialities, particularly in theatre and music. So a lot of people go on into roles in the music industry, the theatre industry, and particularly the festivals industries at the moment from arts management. It's a really innovative degree, because it was one of our first to build placement in its third year, and it's a huge benefit to our students because they go out into the world of work with 6 months, a half year of being in the workplace and putting their knowledge into action. And a lot of students find that that really is a stepping stone to their first job in the industry they want to be into.
And can I just, like, arts management, in my head, my ignorance, I'd say, isn't that just running a gallery? Obviously, it's more than that.
Oh, much more. There is an element of the visual arts, and that's really important. But there's also like being a tour manager or being a music manager. There's also the element of being in charge, like I was myself in a former life, of a theatre company and all the kind of the business elements of working in the arts and the creative industries from the financial, the legal, the ethical point of view, as well as the title might suggest, the kind of the art and the visual art industries as well.
Now, New Media Studies is a hugely popular program in your department.
Absolutely.
They're now in their fourth year. Your first group of fourth years are coming through. So in a way, it still feels like a new program. Tell us a bit about that.
Absolutely, it is, and we're delighted to be bringing our first crop of graduates into the world in June, rather. And yes, it's a course that blends production and theory, which is a really innovative way of teaching media studies. And it's one of the few courses of its type that has access to some of the great things about IADT, because it's the National Film School. It's taught in some of the areas in here in the National Film School, but also with staff who teach in the National Film School. So it really blends the two parts of IADT really well, the academic,
the theoretical and the practical. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll come back and talk about your new degree, English and Equality Studies, but Trades, I'll come back to you first. Well, let's start with you first. Your department, the Department of Entrepreneurship, I mean, you have 3 programs as well, but tell us a little bit, first of all, I suppose, about, well, the applied entrepreneurship degree.
Okay. Well, we've in some ways we're probably the best kept secret of IADT, in that there's a full business offering within the institute, and from the get-go we've always had a focus on entrepreneurship. And sometimes I think people think, when they think about entrepreneurship, they think about the big name entrepreneurs who start businesses from scratch and become millionaires. But actually entrepreneurship, as we position it and teach it, is about a mindset, and that mindset gives graduates and students, it's the opportunity, the ability to see opportunity, and then to have lots of us see opportunity, but we don't act on the opportunity. So it's seeing the opportunity, acting on it, and making things happen. And that's
having the skills to do so.
And having the skills to go with that to do so. So we, within the business programs, within the entrepreneurship and the other programs that we offer in business, we have a very strong focus on the practical and the applied. So yes, you'll have the theoretical pieces that go on in the classroom that you would expect to get in a business degree, but lots of project work, lots of application, work placement, like Kevin has mentioned, for arts management. So there's a real learning by doing ethos underpinning what we do in business.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a question, I suppose. I mean, you know, you might imagine, and people, the man on the galloping horse would know that we do film here and things like that, but, you know, there is humanities and there is business. And well, that, first of all, that's might be news to some people, but I'm wondering, does that sort of practical element, you know, that is very much a practical college in a way, does that imbue your courses?
Absolutely. And the other thing I think that people maybe underestimate about business, and indeed humanities as well, is that there's a huge creative piece around business, and that, you know, setting up a business is a creative endeavour. Being involved in business, coming up with new marketing campaigns, is very much about creativity. So we do place creativity within the curriculum, and then also we focus on practice and getting students to get some hands-on experience and practical and applied experience. And I think the two together do give us, as I use Kevin's phrase, you know, business with a bit of a twist around the practical elements.
But Kevin, that's kind of important. I mean, like when people think about the word creativity, I suppose again immediately we think about making artistic work. But creativity is more than that, really. I mean, I would have always put it as kind of being able to think on your feet, problem solve, those kinds of things. That's what creativity is all about, in some ways.
Absolutely, and I think what really makes us unique as business and humanities departments is that if you went somewhere else to study these subjects, you would be doing exams all the time. Here we have, I think it's come down to something like 30, 40%, maybe even less than that, maybe 25% exams in our courses. We do project-based work in the main, and that ranges from our new course in English and Equality Studies, particularly New Media and Arts Management, in business as well. We do problem and project-based learning and workplace-based learning as well as really the keystones in what we do. And it means that students leave with real-world skills that they can start to apply from the word go.
And you find those skills, Trace, are important in graduates?
Absolutely, and again, the creativity, the entrepreneurial, having that mindset, they're listed as key attributes that employers are looking for. So they serve you well if you want to do something for yourself or start up on your own, but they serve you equally well if you go into employment. So that working with people, working in teams, problem solving, coming at things from multiple perspectives and with a bit of innovation and creativity within it. All of that is what the graduate of the future needs.
It's learning by doing, isn't it? I mean, like, because it's like, and we'd imagine it's more fun way of learning in a way, like.
Absolutely, and I think as well it's a way that engages people of different learning styles, and it isn't all just about the exam at the end of term. It's about continuous learning and continuous assessment throughout the whole year, and that's a real unique aspect of what we do at IADT across the board.
Trace, tell us a bit about the business management programme.
Yeah, the business management is a 4-year honours degree programme. We do all of the things that you would typically expect to do in a business programme. There's the marketing, the management, the finance. Also, that relationship between technology and business is ever closer, has become ever closer, and continues apace to become closer. So the students will get insight to all of that. We do, as I say, as with the other programme, we weave that on, the development of the entrepreneurial mindset all the way through the programme. In the 3rd year, students will go out and work for the full second term in an industry of their choice, or they get the opportunity to go on Erasmus or a work study abroad through the Erasmus programme, and that's a part of our offering that's growing, and students are responding very, very well to it. And then as they graduate, the opportunities are right across the spectrum of business, as you would expect. It can be finance, it can be HR, it can be business development. In fact, we have a business graduate who has won an IFTA. So there's lots of opportunity for the graduates that go out.
Yeah, people really never realise where they end up after college. Kevin, tell me about, like you mentioned New Media Studies, you mentioned Arts Management, but you have a new degree in English and Equality Studies. Talk to me about that, please.
Yeah, English and Equality Studies really is a case in IADT building the future and keeping the past alive. We've been teaching English literature for about 20 years in IADT, and this is a new venture for us, bringing that together with law and sociology under the umbrella term of Equality Studies. So it's a course that if someone's interested in literature or wanting to become a journalist or a teacher, and if they're interested in social justice in particular, but also in equality law, that this really is the course for them, because it gives them the grounding that they need to go on and work in non-governmental organisations, advocacy organisations. If they want to pursue a law career, it gives them a taste of what it's like. If they want to work in some of the more important kind of organisations that work for people of varying abilities or varying identities, this really is what's going to give them the grounding and give them the stepping stone to go into that.
Brilliant. And Trace, you also have a new programme in digital marketing.
Yeah, we do indeed. And really this has grown out of, I suppose, two things: observation of what our graduates were doing, and also, I suppose, the changing nature of the workplace and the important role that digital is playing in business, ever increasing as we speak. So it's a 3-year honours degree with a total focus on digital marketing, and it combines that, again, 100% project based, so the students are doing projects from the get-go. First year is all about really developing your digital skills at the traditional level of things like, you know, Microsoft and Excel and all that kind of mundane stuff, but also investigating web applications, website development, as well as learning the basic principles of marketing and digital marketing in year 1. And then they progress through in looking at, you know, online consumption, consumer behavior, you know, analytics, search engine optimization, all of the elements that make up an understanding of what digital marketing is. And, you know, and in the 3rd year, very much looking at that from a strategic point of view. Again, work placement takes place in 2nd year, and they go out and will work with digital marketers and in businesses who are developing their digital dimension.
And it's a 3-year honours degree?
It's a 3-year honours degree. It's Bachelor of Arts in Digital Marketing.
Okay, Kevin, like we're coming towards the end maybe of the chat, but I mean, I think it's important we should note as well, a lot of all these programs are not portfolio based. So, I mean, if you're to kind of capture your own sense of, you know, your department and what the programs are trying to do and the story of it, if you like, what would you be saying to potential applicants?
Sure. I think, as you said, I think one of the unique things about, say, for example, new media studies is it's not portfolio based. You can come in and you can study how to make media, whether you want to be working in the kind of the social media or the traditional media environment when you leave. That really is a great course from that point of view. I think one of the overall things is, and I think this is part of the ethos of IDT, as well as deciding what you want to be when you leave, it also is a great place to experience who you want to become, because it gives you the opportunity to experience an environment where you're working with artists, where you're working with business people, psychologists, and you're building a great network and a great group of friends who are cross disciplines. And this gives you an environment that you just won't get anywhere else. And the Department of Humanities has a system of shared modules, so that you'll be in class in new media with people doing arts management and people who'll be studying English as well. And you'll learn from each other and with each other in that kind of open and diverse environment. And that really is something that's quite special.
Teresa, I might pick up on that point. I mean, like, we're not like the big colleges, like we don't have some of those kind of facilities, but we have something else maybe.
Yeah, I think we have a real sense of community actually, and I think people feel it when they come on campus. The class sizes are relatively small, and I think that's very, that gives from my point of view, from an organisational point of view, it gives a lot of flexibility around the practice elements that you can build into programmes and the practical piece. But from a student perspective, what it means is they really do get to know the lecturing staff, they get to know the team, they get to know their classmates. So I think there's a real community sense, and that can work very well for many students. So the small class size, the community, the friendly atmosphere, the application, and then the opportunity to engage in the wider community of IADT, clubs and societies. You know, I think it's a great place to kickstart your career and to make really good friends for across many diverse areas.
So Kevin, finally, like if people want to find out more about what both departments are doing, what your faculty is doing, what's the best way to find out?
Well, our open days are a great way to touch base with us, and we have one, of course, on Saturday. But I think as well, if you just want to contact us through the website, there's someone always there operating on the QA system, and info@idt.ie is a great way to get in touch with us as well. And we'll do our very best to answer any questions anyone has.
Great. Kevin, Trace, thank you so much for talking to us today. That's us for now. My very, very great thanks to Kevin and to Trace. And for more information on all our programmes, as we said, go to our website, idt.ie, or search us on social. There's lots of ways of getting in touch. Best of luck to you all, and hopefully we'll see you soon in person. Slán agus gur míle maithagah a sucht bheith fechid.